is conversating. He say I'm happy you called, what you been up to lately? I said
Yo, and welcome to Life in Plumbing. All right, so we're gonna talk about the underground PVC application. All right, for those who are still getting familiar with the different types of pipe, this is going to be a PVC installation. This is where we use glue and primer, and both are necessities when it comes to using PVC pipe, and we'll talk about that as we go along in the video. All right, so for those of you guys still wondering how we do all this, what it looks like, what it's supposed to look like, this video is going to help you guys out a lot. All right, so let's get into it. All right, so what you're looking at right here is a riser. All right, so anytime we do a riser, it means we are testing the system. All right, so you guys will see as we go along in the video, there's going to be like these little caps on the top of every one of these pipes. All right, what we had to do was fill up the whole system without the pipes being on. Without the caps being on. And as the water got to the top of the pipes, we ended up capping them off. All right, so we went around and we do them one by one to make sure that there's minimal air in the system. And then the last thing we fill up is what you're looking at right now, and this is the riser pipe. This is a 10-foot head. When you are testing your pipes, the inspector is going to look for a 10-foot head. You must have that 10-foot head, all right? And he's going to wait and he's going to see. I got the ladder hooked up for him so that he can go to the top, make sure he or she can go up to the top, which in this case was a she. Come up to the top of the ladder, look in, make sure your water is good, make sure y'all ain't did no faulty stuff up in the systems. I know y'all be out there doing that. Don't be doing that, man. Do your systems right, you know what I'm saying? Because you never want to have to come back, do the work twice, man. And then, you know, they pass the test for you, all right? So how many feet do we need? 10 foot. 10 foot from the finish, from the top of pipe all the way up. So in this case, our pipes were about 3 foot below. Not 3 feet. It's probably like 2 foot. 2 foot below where you're looking right now. So that means you've got 2 foot plus your 8. That's going to be 10 foot. Okay, that's your 10-foot head. It doesn't have to be 3-4 inch. They just want to know that the water's there and it's holding everything. 2 inch. You're not going to put a 4-inch pipe and try to hold that with water. It just doesn't make sense. Put your 2-inch pipe on there. You don't have to cap it. As soon as the inspector comes and checks it off, you're good to go. All right. Okay, so now we looked at the riser. What is a riser connected to? There is a sink, right? There's a wall where you see this, you're gonna see the string line right here. So we pulled the lines for the walls so we know exactly how big that wall is, so that we can end up getting our pipe in the center of that wall, okay? This is actually, it's not for nothing that we came up on this section. Usually we'll pick a lav or a sink to come off of, which is 2 inch, right? So what we did was bring it up. For the most part, it's 2 inch. So what we did was bring up our 2 inch right here, decide, hey, this is what we want our riser to be, our 10-foot head, and we ended up doing it here. So what you're looking at is actually a sink on this side of the wall. All right, cool. Let's talk fittings. All right, so right here you have your reducer. All right, this is a 4-inch trunk line, okay? 4-inch trunk line. So that is determined by how many fixtures you're going to have in this one system, okay? So as you can see over here, you've got a 3-inch line. Over here, you got a 2-inch. It doesn't have to be all ran 4-inch, and this is why. Over here, you only have 2 lavs, what you're going to see. And just so I can tell you guys right now, so you guys know, there's a difference between lavatories and sinks, all right? They're going to say a sink. A sink is anything outside the restroom. A lavatory is in the restrooms. Those are the sinks that you're using in there. I said sinks. Those are the lavatories, but we call them sinks. We at home, we're like, oh, the sink, everything's a sink. But no, there's a lavatory in the restroom. Outside are the sinks, okay? So what we're looking at right here on your 4-inch trunk line, you've got, this is a Y, all right? It's a Y with a 45, which is the same as a combi, right? The reason why we put a Y there is probably because we didn't have a combi, because we could just put a combi there. But yeah, if you don't have a combi, which looks like this without this hub and right here, then, you know, you go ahead and you can have a Y and throw on your 45. Now, if you notice something about this 45, now check this out. You're gonna see these little these are called hubs right here. See, on every insert of the pipe, you have your fitting, and then your pipe goes into the fitting. How does it go into the fitting? By these hubs right here. These are hubs. All right. So your pipe goes into the hub. Notice there's a hub here, and a hub here on every side. If you look at this 45, you have a Y, hub here, and hub here. That's your Y. And then you have no hub because it's going straight into a hub. And then you have a hub on this side. This is called a street fitting, all right? Street fittings go straight into there. As you see that, you know, if you were to use a regular 45, you would have to put a putt piece in between and then run it. There's no point. That's why we use streets. We can go ahead and throw that street up in there and come straight over here. And usually when you're using, doing an application like this, that we usually use street fittings if we're gonna go ahead and throw that combi on there like that, all right? I mean, and call it a combi basically from here, because that's what we do. All right, so here, so yeah, make sure you know the difference between street fittings and 45s, because, you know, especially being apprentices, they're gonna test you guys and be like, hey, hand me that street fitting. Knowing you're gonna hand them a 45, and that's just how they do it, but it's gonna be testing you just to make sure you're on top of stuff, all right? So that's why I like to do videos like this, to let you guys know exactly what's happening, what's going on, because I was blinded when I didn't know any of this. Imagine if I would have seen this, man, I'd have been out there doing it. But yeah, I'm gonna do this for you guys. Now, you see this? It's a putt piece right here. So anybody tell you, hey, cut me a little putt piece of whatever this is, 18 inches. Wow, 18 inches, they're gonna cut that. There you go, that's what it is. All right, this is a reducer right here, right? So we're going from 4 to 2. This is a 4x2 reducer, all right? Into a 90, all the way up to, what's that? Our 10-foot head, okay? So when you see this, yeah, so all right, you guys are knowing. Right here, oh, obviously it's right here too. Here is the combi we're looking at, right? Doesn't it look like this without that Y? Yes, it looks like this right here. This is a 3-inch 4x3 combi. Why is it 4x3? Like I told you, this is a 4-inch trunk line. This is a 3-inch line going this way, right? So 4x3 combi. Combis are long. You're gonna see a Santee is cut off like right here, but this right here is a combi, all right? All right, let's continue. All right, cool. What you're looking at right now are 2 lavatories, all right? This is a restroom over here. The lavs are right before you exit the door, so if you were to walk in, you would see the lavs first, and then you walk in and hit the corner. And there you're gonna see the rest of your fixtures, your urinals, your water closets, all right there. So these are the 2 lavs right here, 1 and 2. 2-inch is what we ran. We capped them off, and you see they all have to hit. So all these are right where they need to be. For the most part, I didn't run them, but I'm pretty sure he ran them right where they need to be. When you are running this is very important. I want you guys to understand this. We are doing, these are lavs right here, okay? Now, if you think about finish, on the outside, when this wall is up, when those pipes are up, you're gonna have your pipes sticking up out of that concrete, and it's gonna have a clean out and then a tap Santee on it, which goes to your P-trap coming from your sink, right? What you can see once the bathroom is done. And that P-trap only has 3 inches of play, okay? It's very important. So depending on where you put this, sometimes people don't like to put these right on because they like to give their self play, but you got 3 inches of play. If you hit it directly on, you're good. You don't have to be super perfect. I mean, for the most part, when you're plumbing them, you want to plumb them on point. You want to plumb them right where they need to be, but don't, you know, once it's all said and done and it's off about an inch or an inch and a half, don't worry about it, because you can always come over 2 to 3 inches, you know what I mean, on either side. So you have that play in there. So when I first started this, that used to drive me crazy because I'm trying to hit everything right on point, and then, you know, somehow, some way, it just ends up off a little bit. It can actually be off 3 inches and you'll still be fine. It's not gonna make a big deal. It's not gonna look ugly underneath. I mean, you want them straight on, but if it happens like that, it happens like that. So don't beat yourself up, all right? All right, let's see what else we got here. Where we going? Woo! All right, we're going down to 3 inch. All right, we got some stuff down here. All right, let's look at this. Okay, I love the way he did this. I didn't plumb this, but dude did a great job. One of the guys was working with. And right here, Look at everything is clean. All of his joints are clean. So when we're doing PVC piping, remember we're using primer and glue, which means primer goes on first because the primer softens up the pipe, and then you're gonna put your glue on, all right? And then it's gonna harden everything together. So always use your primer and your glue. Don't try to get away with just using glue. That's just not how we do it. That's not the way you're supposed to do it. Don't be lazy out there. Do what you're supposed to do. It's primer and glue, and you don't have to let it sit for an amount of time. So as you put that primer on, prime it up, and then don't be shy with that glue. Put that glue on there. Don't be crazy with it either, but don't be shy with it. Put that glue in there, and then do the same thing with your pipe, all right? Take the end of your pipe, actually put the primer on it, and then the glue. Primer and then the glue. Now, here's the thing. If you're doing 4-inch pipes, all right, this is how I was taught. If you're doing 4-inch pipe, you want to bevel your pipe, all right? A lot of people don't. So I always do it because that's just how I was trained to do it, and it just makes sense. If you don't bevel your pipe and it's a big pipe in there, it's gonna push out your glue and you're not gonna get that secure fitting. I've seen it work without, you know what I mean, having to do that, but I mean, it's just good practice to do it the right way, and I've never had a problem with it doing this way, so I always do it this way. So yeah, once you get if it's 4-inch, 3-inch, ish, you still, if you can, you got time, like, hey, bevel it. A 2-inch and below, don't worry about it. Don't worry about those. Just go ahead, toss them in, and you'll be straight. All right. But remember that just for the PVC. All right. So what we're looking at right now, see if I can clear it up for you guys. All right. So what we're looking at right now is on the left-hand side over here. Here's your P-trap. It's a 3-inch P-trap. Why? Because that is your mop sink. Your 3-inch for your mop sink right here. All right. This box is basically a box that's going to, when you backfill it with dirt and you put your concrete on there, you're going to be able to have wiggle room, because this box is going to guard the concrete and everything from going in there, so that you can still wiggle it and do what you got to do, because sometimes, like I said, things get off, you know what I mean? So these boxes are good to have. All right. So then you have your vent. So every time you do a fixture, remember, every time you got a fixture, 100% of the time it's going to need a vent. All right. So mop sink, it's got water going in it. It's going to need a vent. Okay. It's going to go down into the P-trap, that water, push it down here, and then it's going to vent up. Right. So here's your vent and here's your wall right here. So if you're looking at it like, what's that vent just randomly doing there? There's your wall. It's going to be a 4-inch wall from what I remember. And that right there, yeah, and then that's your mop sink right here on the wall. All right. Here you have 2 more lavs. Now you have the men's and now you have the women's. I believe this is the men's side. So that was the women's side we just looked at. There's your other 2 lavs. All right. They're going to mirror each other on the other side. And you're wondering, oh, okay, well, here's a fixture, right? Because this is your lab, but where's your vent? Here's your vent right here. So what happens is your drain is going to be, your P-trap for your sink is going to be, let's just say right here, lower. And then it's going to go in, drain through the pipe. And here's your waste, right? This is all your waste. Everything on below is your waste. And then up above the waste is your vent. All right, check it out. All capped up because it's all filled up. You don't see no leaks because that's what's up. All right. All right, so I actually wanted to talk about this tape. You'll see tie wire and you'll see this rebar. What we did was stake it. So I've worked a lot of underground pipeline pipe fitting. So the site utilities and stuff like that. Like when we do that, we usually, I'm used to bedding everything. So usually we're laying the pipe right on top of, the bed of sand or gravel or whatever we decide to put up in there, the rock, whatever it is. To get their fall, 1/4 inch per foot, they will stake it every 4 feet. All right. So that is code. You're supposed to stake it every 4 foot. And then you can have your fall and you make sure you do it tight, make sure it's in there, it ain't moving. We use 3/8 rebar for this, and that's what it is. All right. So let's talk about what we got here. water closet. All right, water closets we know are toilets. All right, here is your 3 by 4 inch water closet. So you have a 3-inch pipe coming up. We know what this is. This is your vent, right? Because here's your waste rolling into this, and that would be, then the air comes up. So here is your water closet, your toilet, and what we're looking at that you can't see is a 3 by 4 inch closet flange, closet bin, all right? So what happens is your toilet, the actual flange, it's going to be 4 inch. All right, so you're gonna put that, it's gonna cover it up. This is PVC, so I know that they have like plastic caps on these. So yeah, we're gonna end up putting our 4-inch flange right on the top of there. We're gonna bust that cap out, and then there you are, all right? We wrap them up with foam. This is because when you put the concrete, when you put the concrete on here, you don't want to concrete your pipe. Anytime your pipe is in concrete, the code is to foam it up. We foam it up every single time. And this, we do extra foam on these water closets because we want some play. You always want to give yourself some play, all right? Now, when it comes to the vents, it doesn't really matter. Just get them in. As long as they're in the wall, you're fine. If it's off a little bit, I mean, of course, you want them straight up and down, but it is what it is, all right? Okay, so let's talk about what we're seeing here. Right now, here is your main line. Everything that we saw behind us is coming straight down, and this is outside of the building where you're going to have your two-way clean out. I don't know why I couldn't think of that right now. Your two-way clean out right outside the building. Right here, you see another water closet, okay? This is how we decided to do that. Boom, water closet. Then you have right here is your floor drain, all right? 2-inch coming out the top of it. This is your floor drain. We ran, if you can see it right here, it's a black insulated 1/2-inch copper line, which is for the trap primer that's going to be connected to this floor drain right here. All right, so everything's already connected. Once they put their concrete on it, it's good to go. We run it up usually with our vent tied together. This right here, I like putting, I've never done it this way, but now we're putting insulation on the pipe, and I like it because it gives it that separation. I've seen a lot of people who put these two together, and you know, it just doesn't make sense when you don't put a spacer in between it, and you know, you got to run this, you got to do stuff with this pipe later on. So you always want to make sure you think ahead and, you know, think about what you're doing. If you got two pipes together, understand where it's going, what's happening, so that you can you know, plan accordingly and make sure that you have enough room to do what you got to do. All right, so here we go. All right, let's look down the line. Ooh, I like it. All right, so then you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 water closets. All right, on the line, as you can see, the line's all crazy, but yes, that line was our center line for all of our toilets. We pulled it from the form, and it's straight across. And you see too, let me see if I can show you guys what's on there. Can show you guys how we did this as well. Let's get up in there. There it is. Okay, as you can see right here, we got some tape, right? This tape was our center line. So what I like to do, I like to run a line straight across my center, and then I like to put this tape right on the center, exactly where we need to be. So we know where center is, and then we know where we are, where we need to be right off of this form. So from here to here, you have your number, and then from here to here, you have your number, all right? And just for good practice, always pull your numbers 1, 2 times, you know what I mean? Make sure that you're on, double check, triple check, nothing wrong with that, all right? All right, so let's keep going down the line. Just want y'all to check it out, see what's going on. You already see, y'all know what this is. It's a combi. Now, if you notice, everything is flowing down this way so that it goes down here outside the building, because that's where everything is flowing. If you know where everything is flowing, if you're starting out and you're afraid you're gonna put, glue something in backwards, just understand where you're going, and it kind of makes sense when you see the fitting. Just kind of think of it in your mind. Oh, it's gonna fall here, turn down, and turn out, and then you kind of see where your fitting needs to go. All right. Most of the time, the apprentices are just told what to do, and they're just doing what they're told, but they're not understanding what's actually happening. And that's why I want to explain this video to you guys, so you guys can see the full picture, you know what I mean? And not just throwing stuff in. You don't learn anything about that way. All right, so, and you make a lot of mistakes. All right, once again, now you can see that. Let me see, come on, man, where we going? Okay, yeah, now you can see that a little bit right there. Here's the insulation. Hopefully we got that because it's showing some pipe. But yeah, here's your insulation coming up with your trap primer. And that's how we do it. To your floor drain for the other side. And this is the men's side right here. That was the woman's side on the other side. So you got 3 in the woman's, 2 in the men's, plus a urinal. This is a urinal right here, man. So we throw it up. Once again, your vents are up here. You've got vent, waste, vent, and then your waste, anything below. And this is for your floor drain. Man, I want to thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys got something from this. I hope this helps you guys when you're out there to feel more comfortable, to feel more confident, to just go out there and, do the best you can to do it yourself at some point. Don't get ahead of the boss, man. Don't act like y'all know everything because I'm showing y'all these videos. That's not what this is for. I'm just trying to help you guys to not get yelled at as much. That's for one thing. And the second thing is just so you guys have an understanding and that you guys can add to what your foreman or your supervisor is doing, so that, you know what I'm saying, looks like you know what you're doing, and eventually he'll give you your chance. You know what I mean? So, man, think about everything you're doing. Be wise, make good decisions, man, and you guys enjoy the journey. All right, I'll see y'all on the next one. Peace.
Me and my God always conversating. He say I'm happy you call, but you've been up too lately. I said the reason I call is I'm at war with Satan, and I'ma need your help to get through this. Lord, please eradicate it.